We are back once again having a nice conversation with Roger Kamenetz, the history of last night's dream. We went to break talking about those common dreams, the falling dream, the dream that you showed up for school and there's a test that you didn't even know was coming, the walking outside and forgetting to put on your clothes dream. What are those? Are they as common as we tend to believe that they are? And if so, why?
They are very common, and I would call them lost dreams.
Lost dreams?
Wandering in the city, not being able to find a certain place we think we're supposed to go. The teacher who doesn't know what he's supposed to teach. The actor who doesn't know his lines, doesn't know what play he's supposed to be in. Suddenly this curtain opens, I think that the common response is, oh, well, these are anxiety dreams, which to me is trivial. It tells you nothing. Oh, I know that already. I'm anxious, so what? But they actually are invitations to a journey. They're an invitation, in a sense, to find what you've lost. I had a series of dreams about walking into a classroom, and the students are there, but I don't know what the class is I'm supposed to be teaching. So I say, well, I'll throw thoughts out there, and when the students respond, I'll know whether I'm teaching algebra or creative writing or whatever. And it doesn't work.
It doesn't work?
No. The kids turn their heads. Some of them start walking out the class. In one variation, the classroom expanded into the size of a stadium, and I'm kind of speaking, and the words are echoing off the wall. I mean, it was horrible.
So where did you take it? Where did it go?
Well, my teacher, Mark Bregman, said, how do you know you're the teacher? And I said, well, of course I'm the teacher, Mark. I've been teaching for 25 years. Obviously I'm the teacher. And then he said, well, does anyone say you're the teacher? So he gave me a homework, and the homework was to imagine that I was walking in the classroom and that I was a student. So I tried the homework, and it was very hard. What do you mean I'm the same thing, what do you mean? And I really had trouble doing it. But after a while, I saw the feelings that were coming up around it, which were about my pride and really my arrogance, sort of assuming that in any given situation I'm a teacher, which is not true. So after a while, after I did that work on myself, I had the dream again. I walked in, and I sat down with my fellow students, and then the teacher walked in. And it was beautiful. It's such a change, and a relief, maybe.
So in some ways, it sounds as if our dreams sometimes are trying to get us to question some of our basic assumptions?
Absolutely. They absolutely are displaying for us our predicaments and trying to, sometimes with humor, sometimes with wildness, and to provoke us.
Or to free us from some of the, straitjackets that we put around ourselves in thinking that we're defining ourselves in a specific way.
Yeah, because we all have been conditioned by other people's expectations. And dreams come from the truth of our lives, of our souls. I had a dream where I was on my deathbed reciting my resume. And
to whom?
No one. That was the irony of it. Good point. I hadn't thought about that.
That's kind of the ultimate answer right there. You got that one figured out. We got this whole thing licked.
Right. Well, it was a funny dream, but it was also wonderful because it made me realize, all the things you worry about, achievements, publications in my case, so forth, at that point, they're really not going to matter very much. They're not going to matter at all. So the dream was coming from a perspective that was so different from our everyday perspective where we're looking at life one day at a time. This was almost from the other end of life, looking at my life as a whole.
The subtitle, Discovering the Hidden Path to the Soul.
Right.
What is the soul?
Soul is essence. Soul is the essence of who you are, who you're meant to be. I believe that each person has a soul, has been given a kind of, has a purpose. It's connected to what your purpose is in life at the deepest level.
Soul predates the physical being itself and transcends this existence?
I don't know. I mean, I know what's believed about it, and I know what religion says about it, but what I'm really more interested in is how I experience my own soul. I'm hoping to, through that, to learn more. In other words, we get caught up, I don't want to refuse your question, I'll try to answer it, but we get caught up sometimes in the belief systems. But the real issue is, do you know your own soul? Do you know your own essence? And these days, there's a lot of popularity books about atheism. There've been very popular books about it. And people want to be godless, okay, but do they want to be soulless? Do they want to lose a sense that they have a core, that they have an essence?
How much of the way you look at life predated, say, your meetings with the Dalai Lama? How much of it goes back to your earliest own philosophical or religious experiences yourself? And how did you come to be where you are right now? That's obviously a question that needs an hour or two unto itself, but the Cliff Notes version of that.
Assuming anyone is interested. I think it came out of poetry for me. I began writing poetry as a teenager, and I hear voices. And so when you hear voices and start writing them down, you begin to have a question about creativity, about where does this come from? How can it be that something arises in you that needs expression, that seems new and original, that you didn't know? That process, I think, very early on was something that, I loved writing, but it also engaged me to think, that we have these creative energies inside of us that get expressed. Where do they come from?
Is it the soul's attempt to answer the voices that you hear?
I think ultimately for me poetry is the voice of the soul. And I think the arts in general are coming from the soul. But we lose track of that in the when we get concerned with, again, what other people think or how it's received.
In the multimedia, fast-paced world in which we live, is it getting tougher and tougher to plug into that, do you think, or people kind of reawaken to it?
I'm hoping we'll reawaken to it, because I view dreams in general as such a powerful natural resource, a natural experience. And I say to people, many people say I don't remember dreams. I say it's like you're only living half a life, because you have this whole other life that's very rich.
Well, we appreciate you spending this time with us. It has been enriching, to say the least. The history of last night's dream, discovering the hidden path to the soul. Roger Kamenetz, thanks for coming in, sir.
It was a pleasure, Mike. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Thank you.